Привет, друзья, and welcome to another episode, finally, of me. It's around Christmas time, and of course, at Christmas time, when I was a kid, we always used to either have a model train, a toy train running around the Christmas tree, or I'd get a train set for Christmas. And now that I'm part of a model railroad club out here in Carson City, where I'm at their wonderful museum with this 100-plus-year-old locomotive. I think this was built in 1906. I'll double check, and it'll be in the narration later. But every year, the railroad club that I belong to runs a train set inside the museum. And you know, I love my model trains. I love my trains. I'm a gearhead. So therefore, come with me on a journey to Carson City to visit the museum, which we're at right now, and to see a modular model railroad layout. So for 3 weekends in December, the Carson City Railroad Association, in conjunction with the Nevada State Railroad Museum, run a small little modular display up in one of the exhibit rooms. If you're wondering what a modular display is, it's kind of like a portable layout that everybody builds a section of and then they put together. I don't have any sections built as of yet, but I have a lot of trains. So obviously, 2 out of those 3 weekends, I bring a bunch of my trains to go run around in a loop. Now, the drive up to Carson City is very pretty, very beautiful, no matter what the weather. And it's about 45 minutes away from my house, which doesn't make the trip long, but it's still very enjoyable, obviously, as you can see. So let's take a condensed journey on my way to Carson City and to breakfast. Carson City is the state capital of Nevada, and as you can see here, the building is beautifully adorned for the holiday season. And I really like the Nevada state government because it seems like they don't do a whole heck of a lot here, which is nice. The other fun thing about Nevada is I think every city has a nugget casino, and Carson City has no exception. And this Nugget Casino is really cool. I mean, they've got the motorcycle from Easy Rider here. If you've never seen Easy Rider, it was a movie made in the 60s. Sort of one of those biker movies that brought a whole bunch of genre B movies. And then, of course, there is a replica of the Batmobile from the 1966 Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward. Adam West, Adam West, this is my song of Adam West. Also, another fun fact about like northern Nevada and their casino restaurants is they seem to be stuck in the 1960s and 1970s when it comes to design, which I don't mind, but it would be nice if I saw like a mobster movie being filmed. It would also be nice if I could figure out how to do other things with the camera. And it seems every restaurant in North America has the same style traditional breakfast: toast, hash browns, scrambled eggs, and either sausage or bacon. And I can say this much, it did taste a lot better than it looked. And of course, right after I decided to shovel down my breakfast, it was time to hit the museum and run model trains. This month, the Railroad Museum breaks out their steam locomotives, Virginia and Truckee locomotive number 25, a 1905 10-wheeler that was used on the original Virginia and Truckee line going from Virginia City into Carson City, and from Carson City into Reno, and from Carson City into Minden. And now it just runs around about a quarter mile of track around Carson City. Now, the original Virginia and Truckee, or the first iteration of the railroad, stopped operations in 1950. But even though it stopped the operations, about 90% of its locomotives and a lot of its rolling stock was well preserved. And not just by historians, but by Hollywood itself, as Hollywood purchased a lot of the Old West locomotives and the Old West cars for, what else? Westerns of the 1940s and 50s and 60s, long before CGI and long before, like, the Lone Ranger, where they built a locomotive that looks nothing like the locomotives of the Old West. Of course, the connection between this railroad and model railroading comes together because locomotives like this old 440 American were used as templates for many model railroad manufacturers. And this odd-looking critter adorned many a Christmas tree layout in the 60s and 70s when a model railroad company built one in 1/87th scale, or HO scale. HO scale stands for half of O scale, which O scale was 1/48th. But not all engines are created equal. This little monster here from the Nevada Central Railroad is actually a narrow gauge steam locomotive that was purchased by Disney animator Ward Kimball. He bought all the locomotives from that railroad and put one in his backyard in San Gabriel, which is now in Paris. As you can see here, the narrow portion is only 3 feet apart, while the wide portion is standard gauge, or 4 foot 8.5 inches in the United States. So when it really comes down to it, this museum here was created in part by Hollywood. Outside of the first exhibit room, small section of track still shows certain railroad cars and various stages of preservation or in use, like that derrick car. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw this little oddity. As I walk closer to it, you will see that this is actually a reproduction of a Civil War railroad mortar. That was kind of cool, because, yeah, there's a lot of Civil War reenactments that are done out here in Nevada. Then, of course, over here was a flat car that hopefully will someday be restored. Now, in the second building, this weird-looking Buck Rogers type anomaly is called a McKean car, and is the only one, no, it's over here on the left, it's the only one left in existence that actually operates. Of course, they took out the old Hall Scott motor and they put that thing in there, which I think is a Caterpillar, but it still is like a very cool thing. And as you can see in this building, these are where a lot of the cars are being restored or stored. Mostly the operational stuff, like this McKean car, and like some of these little passenger cars here. But it's also a working building, because as you can see, some of these locomotives are in certain stages of finalizing restoration, and some cars, and that locomotive back there, are in various stages of also being restored and being preserved for history. And I'll be honest, it's important, and I have to applaud Nevada for preserving its history as it was meant to be, as remembered by those who came before us, who actually worked the railroad, who worked in the silver mines of the Comstock of Virginia City, and who tried to keep the railroad going long after it was deemed useless. Because if we forget our history, we don't show our children how our country was formed and how the state became such an amazing place to live in, then history will just fade away into nothing, like mist in the wind. On the last Saturday of operations, I brought a museum piece to the museum. This was actually my second locomotive as a kid. I got it on Christmas in 1977. It's been rebuilt I don't know how many times, put in a box, dropped, broken. Parts have been replaced on it, but there it sits. I had just replaced the tender drive maybe about 2 nights before, hoping it would run. And then, for a short, brief moment, I was 11 again. Except for a small problem with the speaker where the volume wasn't loud enough, that little sucker ran flawlessly around the layout. And so, Georgia, there you have it. Today I'm calm, I'm at peace, I'm having a good time, or I had a good time. Now I gotta go and do the Christmas thing, and I thought I'd close this off behind the actual Virginia and Truckee depot in Carson City. It's been since turned into a mini mall, and I don't think a train's ever gonna run there again, but it was still nice to close off this video. So hopefully I get this out before Christmas. I think I will. So I want to wish you and yours a happy Christmas. And I also want to wish for the new year peace. Hopefully within the year. And with all that, as always, I have to say Yabloko, Dr. Pepria, anything else I can think of comes to mind I can't think of, because every time I do this, even though I script it up, I can never remember the lines, which is why I'm in Nevada and not Hollywood. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys, and I'll see you in the next video whenever it comes out. So until then, baka. Друзья, I almost forgot. There's 2 links down here. One is to my Telegram channel, the Fallout Shelter. Join, let's talk when I can. The other thing is, also on the bottom is a list of things that I would love to get on Amazon if, and I do say if, you can mail me stuff on Amazon. I don't know. And finally, at the bottom, if you don't have Amazon and you still want to mail me some cool stuff, at the bottom is my P.O. box, which means you can send me stuff. Send me stuff, but not a lot of stuff because I don't have a lot of room. I still have to look at the button.